This video, as my others, is filled to the brim with overpowered lessons and ideas. If you want to skyrocket your gains in not only school, but other aspects of life, then I advise that you take the lessons in this video to heart. Hello everyone, and welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is How to Above. And if you're somebody who's trying to level up in life, whether they be in school or your general health, well then, you're in the right place. Habit 1. First, I want you guys to know that there are two types of people. Reactive people and proactive people. The best way I can explain this is in an example. I'll make an example of myself and a friend of mine. So, before I had accounting, I had geography. Me and a friend of mine, we both had geography. We both sucked at it. So, what was my solution for this? I thought to myself, you know what? Geo, I suck at it. I tried my best. I did all the tips and tricks I know. It just doesn't work for me. Geo isn't a subject for me. He felt the same way. What I did was I changed Geo to accounting. Accounting is too easy for me. I practically don't even study for it. Now I get level 6s and 7s for accounting. I'm about to get level 7. I'll show you guys. He, on the other hand, he didn't quit Geo. Instead, he kept on going with Geo. And he passed all of his subjects with like average grades, level 5, like 60-50%, except for Geo. He failed Geo. This is a prime example of a reactive and a proactive person. We both had the same complaints. Only difference is the proactive person, me, did something about the situation, whilst the reactive person instead did nothing regarding the situation. How I will quantify this is that a reactive person focuses on things that they cannot change, whilst a proactive person only focuses on the things that they can change. Habit number 2, imagine this situation. It's graduation, you're done with high school, you're about to go to college. Now, the last day of school, everybody's talking about what Jacob did, what Caleb did, what Jessica did. We're talking about all of our achievements during high school. What do you want people to say about you? When you go around and you ask them, hey guys, it's me, I liked it. What do you want people to talk to you about? You want them to say, hey Jacob, I liked it when you did this. Hey, remember when Jacob did this? Remember How to Above said this? Lesson number 2 is begin with an end in mind. Most of us have goals and ambitions that we aspire to, yet we do not do the habits that lead to those goals. What I want you guys to take from this section of the video is to have your goal in mind and focus all of your daily habits towards that goal. Having a clear goal makes it so much easier to say no to these loose thingies that come day in, day out. When you begin with the end in mind, the path just becomes so much more clear. And the next habit will be what the path actually is. So, habit number 2, begin with an end in mind. Habit number 3, prioritize. I've previously talked about prioritization on this channel, but I'll briefly explain it again. The word priorities doesn't exist. Let me explain. What it means to have a priority means to have something that you place above all else. A priority is something or a habit or someone that you place above everything else. By its mere definition, you can't have priorities purely because of what happens when you get a clash of priorities. Let's say my priorities are, oh, I want to be the best soccer player out there. And another priority of mine is that, oh, I want to get good grades. Now, I have a game tomorrow, like a game that a scout is going to be at. You're going to watch players, you're going to sign players for your team. This is a big opportunity for anybody who's going to play. I'm obviously going to get scouted because I've been practicing. But tomorrow, I also have a maths test. Now, this is the final maths test. This is going to determine my grade for the entire year. If I fail this test, I fail. You see, that's a clash of priorities, meaning that whichever one of those two I choose, that one thing is actually my priority, meaning that the other thing was never a priority. It was just something important in my life. It's kind of difficult to grasp, but once you get it, you get it. Priorities don't exist. Only priority. This actually works in conjunction with the previous point, which is begin with the end in mind. The end in mind is kind of like your priority, and prioritizing just means that you keep everything else to the side. You don't get rid of them. Don't get me confused. I'm still gonna play soccer. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm just placing it on the side. Knowing that when I need to achieve my main goal, that's my priority. I'm gonna focus on that. These other thingies, they're gonna have to wait for their turn. I actually made a table to help you understand how priorities work. Quadrant 1 of the table is urgent and important matters. Those things that require your immediate action. In quadrant number 2, you get things that are not urgent yet also important. These are your personal and professional development. In quadrant number 3, you get things that are not urgent yet they are important. These are those daily distractions you get, like you get a call from somebody, a message maybe. That's what I would classify in quadrant number 3. In quadrant number 4, you get things that are not urgent and not important. These are your leisurely activities, like maybe watching a bit of Netflix and just chilling, I guess. Most people spend their entire life in quadrant 3, mistaking it for quadrant 1. On the flip side of this, what I would not suggest for you is to stay in quadrant 1. Instead, I would like you guys to focus on quadrant 2. And in the later section of the video, you'll understand why I'm saying this. But the main point of this section of the video is to have a priority instead of priorities. Habit number 4, think win-win. I love making examples of school because I assume that the majority of you guys are students. Back in when I started off high school, I had a maths teacher who, he was only there for like a month, then he left. It was his last year, that's why he wasn't always there. The thing about that math teacher was, he knew that math was a difficult subject for students. Students kept failing, and it kind of stains on the teacher. It hurts them a little bit when their students fail, because then they feel that they did a bad job. Shout out to the teachers, I'm showing love to you guys as well. But what the teacher did was, in order to motivate us to achieve better grades, he set out a challenge. Whoever got the best grades in the entire classroom, he would give money to. Now, you would think that, okay, this will work. This will motivate students to do better and perform better, and everybody passes maths. Everybody failed maths that term. Everybody failed maths that term. The thing about the teacher was, he gave us a wrong approach. Instead of him thinking win-win, he thought win-lose. He didn't set an environment where people would elevate each other and achieve better grades. Instead, he set an environment where people would compete with one another to be better, and not in like a positive way. They would push each other down just so that they can lift themselves up. Now, this doesn't work, because when people work together, that's when they achieve better results. Another point in the video is gonna go in more detail about this, but we'll get there. Thinking win-win. What the teacher instead could have done is try and create an environment where we would help one another, where we would try to boost each other to achieve something greater than what we could do alone. Another teacher of mine, my English teacher this year, what she does instead of giving a competition of like, oh, who wins gets this, if you lose you get nothing, what he does instead is he places us in tiny pods or groups. And then she says, whichever class gets the highest average gets this. And if the entire grade average is above this, then everybody gets this. What she does was kind of sneaky. She makes it look as if we're competing against each other, but actually what she's doing is she's making us help one another. Because now think about it. The class thinks, okay, our average has to be high, so let's help those kids that are struggling to get even better grades so that their class average is high. But what she also said is, if the entire grades average is higher than what she expected, then she gives everybody something. So now, what we'll do is we go to another classroom and we're like, hey, this grade, why didn't you guys achieve this for your guys' average? Why didn't this student pass? And then we're helping each other. The main point of this video is Somebody doesn't have to lose for you to win. Habit number 5 is to first seek understanding, then to be understood. I'd like to give you guys an example. Imagine you have blurry vision, like you can't see all that good. So then you go to the doctor, the eye doctor. The doctor tells you, okay, I see what the problem is. Here, have glasses. Cool. You take the glasses, you look, and you still see blurry. So then you go back to the doc. Doc, the glasses, they don't work. I still don't see clearly. But then doc insists, no, those glasses should work. Wear them. You're not trying hard enough. So then you wear them, you try your best to see, but you still can't see. Then you go back to doc again, and he keeps on insisting that there's something wrong with you because those glasses work for him, so why aren't they working for you? There must be something wrong with you. Now, honest answer is only, would you go back to the doctor? Personally, I wouldn't go to a doctor who prescribes without diagnosing. We're all individuals. We all live in our own bubble away from the world. That's why it's easy for us to be just like the doctor. Instead of seeking to understand our patients, this being the people around us, we instead force our own ideas onto them without even understanding them first. What seeking to understand, then be understood means is listening. And not hearing, listen to me, not hearing, listening, and listening empathetically. When you listen empathetically, you're a doctor in a sense. When you listen empathetically, you're able to give a proper diagnosis and then give a proper treatment. When you listen to your friends' worries, when you listen to somebody's complaints, empathetically, you're able to better understand them and better talk to them, better communicate to them. This makes you a way better listener and a way better advice giver. That's one of the main points of this channel. One of the main reasons I made this channel, My friends, they're in a lower grade than me. They kept on complaining that, oh, I struggle in school, I don't get the grades I want to get, and school is just hard. And then I thought to myself, wait, why is it for some people that school is difficult, for me it isn't? Because we live in basically the same area, so like, why the difference? I advise them, guys, just go on YouTube, find a channel that gives you guys tips on how to study, how to blah blah blah, and then you do fine. They did that. None of the channels work for them. I kept on giving that advice. I kept on I kept on giving prescriptions without listening to the diagnosis. When I listened to them empathetically and I actually looked at YouTube myself, then I realized that, no shade to YouTube, but the advice out there is just whack. It's not working. That's what motivated me to make this channel, so that I can give better advice to students, so that I can help you better achieve what I have, become the best student you could possibly be. My friends, I advise them, hey guys, I made a YouTube channel, go check it out. If you guys need any more specific help, you guys can come ask me personally. I might launch something like that soon, so that you guys can also personally ask me questions. But yeah, habit number 5, seek first to understand, then be understood. Habit number 6, this plays into habit number 4, so I'll be paying attention during habit number 4, because this is really gonna make sense. Habit number 6 is to synergize. Top achievers know how to synergize with others. It's been seen as a weakness that if you ask for help from other people, then you are weak, you're weaker than them. But what top achievers know is that we all have our individual strengths. What I'm good at, somebody else isn't good at. But what they're good at, I suck at it. That's why we need people in our lives to help us. Prime example of me, I can't edit for anything. You could give me a video telling me, hey, how to edit this video. I'll give you what my second video looked like when I edited. My second video, I edited it. You can go check it out. It was awful. That's why I got a friend of mine to edit my videos now. He edits them wonderfully. My videos don't look so choppy anymore. Synergizing. Just because you ask for help, that doesn't mean you're weak. It means that you're thinking smarter. It means that you know how to compensate for your weaknesses. And we're all human, we all have weaknesses, we all also have strengths. Our strengths is somebody else's weakness, and our weakness is somebody else's strength. That's why we synergize. That's why my teacher was such a genius when she told us to work in groups, when she gave us this challenge to see the entire class achieve something great, then we get a reward. The entire grade achieve something great, then we get a reward. Instead of my math teacher who was focusing on you individually, telling you to get better grades. Meanwhile, you know you can't do trig for nothing. Trig is just, you struggle with trig, you can't do it. Meanwhile, Jacob, he can do trig, yet he doesn't know a single thing about algebra. Whilst my teacher knew that, she put us together, and now we can compensate for one another's weaknesses. Habit number 6, synergize. Working with others will greatly help you improve. I like to tell you a story. So, 2 guys live next to each other. Now, this guy's neighbor has been sawing down a tree for a while now, like 2-3 hours. Then he goes to him and he asks him, "Hey, buddy, that saw looks a bit dull. Don't you want to sharpen it?" Then he goes, "I don't have time." Now, that may be an extreme example, but we follow that example to a T. What habit number 7 is sharpen the saw. Basically, what I mean by habit number 7 is don't be like the neighbor thinking, "Oh, I don't have time for that, I have to do this thing now. Oh, I don't have time to sharpen the saw, I'm just gonna saw with a dull saw and waste even more time." This is why, if we go back to habit number 3, prioritization, you'll see that I didn't direct you guys to quadrant number 1, because that's what this neighbor is doing. He's in quadrant number 1. Instead, I want you guys to be in quadrant number 2. Because here's another example. This was me last year, and I told the story multiple times. I'll say it again, with math, and how I almost failed math during the last term. You wouldn't believe what I did and the results I got in the last term. In the last term, I knew I wasn't good at math. I wasn't good at a little bit of math. So what I did was I pulled an all-nighter, like for an entire week, just reading through the notes, just that's all I did, just coloring the notes, rewriting the thingies I just read, thinking, yeah, I'm being productive, I'm working. Meanwhile, also what I was doing was I was tiring myself. I was wearing down my body, my brain, and I was just getting fatigued. That's why when I had to write math, my brain was completely out of juice, and I performed so poorly. I barely passed math in the last term. Now, beginning of this year, I wasn't super productive, as you would say, as I was last year. I was studying like the way I advise you guys to. I was just doing past papers and just activities, doing my homework for like max 2 hours, max, and I got 83%. This term, I'm obviously gonna get even higher than 80% because I did that. I did like maybe 1.5 hours per day, 1.5 hours per day of studying, of sharpening the saw. So obviously I'll get even greater results. What I want you guys to take from this section of the video is don't be so caught up in quadrant number 1 thinking you're being super productive, because all you're doing is you're wearing yourself out. Quadrant number 2, your personal and your professional development. That's where I want you guys to go all in on. And when quadrant number 1 calls, you'll be so much more prepared for it. Because think about it. If I was focusing on quadrant number 2, I was developing myself personally, I was doing the notes, I was doing the activities, whilst also making sure while also making sure that I was taking care of my mental and physical health. Then of course, when quadrant number 1 came, the math test, I'll be super prepared for it. These are at the core of every academic weapon. Learn how to incorporate them into your own life, and you too will be labeled as such. Thanks so much for sticking till the end of the video. You obviously liked it, so do like the video and subscribe, and maybe even leave a comment. And remember, it always seems impossible until it's done.